Alright, guys, so we're going to be talking about the controversy with Gina Carano's firing, and basically she's not going to be on The Mandalorian anymore. And it says there's a accumulation of a long line of controversies. And let's check out these really bad controversies. So let's go down. So she tweeted this tweet, and it just shows the Nazi rally, and there's one guy that's not raising his arm. And then people right here, she said, right here. So, Carano cleared up the controversy when she followed this tweet up with a link to an article or an inside article about the photo. Carano wrote, "Heartbreaking and powerful story of a man who changed his ways for the woman he loved. Love changes the world one person at a time." So I think people got mad at her. It says, in August, Carano tweeted a famous photo from a Nazi rally in 1936. Many users on Twitter called her racist for sharing the picture. So people were pissed that she shared this picture without any context. And then when she brought up, which I don't understand why, it's just a picture, you guys, and this is actually a really cool moment. So I don't understand, like, I don't understand why people are getting upset. You can't post anything about, like, history? I don't know. That's weird. Anyways, so she's like, okay, you guys, that's not the issue. that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the story of the guy who didn't raise his hand in the, I guess maybe people thought that she was just posting a picture of Nazis just holding the hand sign, the Z Kyle sign or whatever, and then they were just like, what is that about? And then when she's like, no, it's about the story of the guy who didn't do that because he loved a Jewish woman and he got out of the Nazi party because love changed him, which I think is a really cool story. I'm Jewish, by the way, so I think that's a really cool story, and posting anything about the history and how the Nazis treated people badly, like, that's fine with me. Like, I don't understand what is that, like, what's wrong with that? Supposedly, though, I'm going to scroll down a little bit, because I read this article already, I just had to kind of reread it just to know what's going on. Where is it? Where the fuck is it? Oh, okay, right here. So, it says right here, Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for the political views? Okay, so she's kind of, you have to do a little bit of mental gymnastics, but it's like she's kind of comparing conservatives to how Jews were treated, kind of like the same sort of deal, which is hyperbole, it's hyperbole. Nobody actually thinks that. It's just what people kind of say on the internet, and I don't like it when she said it, but I don't like it when other people do it either, because, like, being Jewish and stuff like that, you don't like when people dismiss the how bad that situation was during World War II when they compare it to things that are obviously not as bad. So, for example, conservatives being treated right now, which I think conservatives are treated pretty bad on social media to, like, in general, but it's not anywhere near the Jews by any means, and yeah, it's hyperbole, but the thing is that everybody does that. Like, whenever somebody, like, is comparing something bad, they always compare it to, like, anything in the 1940s during World War II. It's kind of like, for example, like, people with Trump. Trump is not literally Hitler. He's not that bad at all by any means. Like, he did not kill 6 million people, but people call him that anyways. People do the comparison anyways. Or if conservatives are being extra or being stupid or whatever, they're literally Nazis, which is not true either. Nazis rounded up people and killed them out in the streets. It's not anywhere close to similar, but people do that all the time. Anytime there's something bad, they compare it to Hitler, Nazis, and the Holocaust. So the fact that she's getting beat up for it when everybody else does it on social media, like everybody, it's just weird. And I think this is a liberal / conservative bias sort of thing, because the thing is like liberal and left-leaning people on Twitter, because Twitter's more of like is generally speaking more of a lefty social media website. It's like Parler is the right-leaning version, and Twitter is the left-leaning version. Or I'm going left and right, different opposite sides. Anyways, yeah, so there's more lefty people on Twitter. So there's going to be more people beating her up or saying something like this when in reality people on their side say that shit all the time anyways, which is kind of it's very hypocritical. So they're pissed off. They're like, yeah, that's not what's actually happened. It's like, yeah, but Trump is not actually Hitler either. So, touche. So I don't know. I don't see that being a big deal either. I don't like it when anybody does it, but her doing it, it's like I've seen it all before. People compare that shit to 1940s all the time. It's not that big of a deal. Anyways, right here. Carano retaliated to those criticizing her for sharing the photo by calling them trolls. Carano shared a meme that mocked people for unfollowing her. It's like the trash took itself out. So here's the tweet. Checking. Okay, so it says, I'm glad you stopped following me. It's like the trash took itself out. Okay, so she's just retaliating because people are beating her up over a tweet about history that pissed people off for some reason. So she's just like, I was talking about this. I wasn't talking about the other thing. Right here. Carano replied, in my experience, screaming at someone that they are a racist when they are indeed not a racist, and any post and or research you do will show you those exact facts. Man, that was kind of hard to say. Then I'm sorry, these people are not educators. They are cowards and bullies. So right here, the guy said, these aren't trolls. These are people trying to educate you so you can get on the right side of history. In my experience, and she says the exact same thing right there. Okay. So she's just defending herself right now. So right here, this Joe guy, he says, Gina, not being coy, what is the hashtag woke world mad at you about? I'm looking at your tweets. Are they mad you called two women in the UFC fight women or ladies? Or fill a brother in. She said, they're mad because I won't put pronouns in my bios to show my support for trans lives. After months of harassing me in every way, I decided to put 3 very controversial words in my bio. Beep, bop, boop. I'm not against trans lives at all. They need to find less abusive representation. Yeah, so I guess people are upset that she didn't put something, I guess, pronouns in her bio. I guess that's like one of those things that's kind of like the black square on Instagram or something like that, to support a certain cause. But the thing is, like, this is just, come with me into my realm of logic. Unless you're going out in the streets and you're protesting with people, you're giving money away to a certain cause, you're actually going and getting your hands dirty, posting something on Instagram like a black square and then literally not doing anything else about that situation doesn't mean you're doing anything or supporting anybody. It's just virtue signaling. It's just being like, look how virtuous I am for helping people when you're really not helping anybody. And it's kind of like, I think that's kind of what she's going at right here. I don't know. I don't live in her mind, so I don't know. But for me, if somebody was yelling at me and being like, you're going to put your damn pronouns in your bios or else, I'd be like, go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? Because like, I'm not going to sit here and just have people beat me up because I'm not joining their crew, their fucking virtue signaling crew. That's personally me. If I'm gonna go and help somebody or do something about something, I'm gonna go outside and get my hands dirty and actually do the dirty work. I'm not gonna go ahead and just be like, I'm gonna post something on social media. All right, see you guys. I'm gonna eat a bowl of cereal. That's just personally for me. So, all right, here we go back down. So, Beep Bop Boop has 0 to do with mocking trans people, and 100% to do with exposing bullying mentality of the mob that has taken over the voices of many genuine causes. I want people to know you can take. I want people to know you can take hate with a smile. So boop you for misunderstanding. Gotcha. Okay. Gina Carano is out here trashing BLM, telling people not to wear masks, spreading theories of COVID fake. COVID is fake, blocking fans for disagreeing with her, and now publicly liking tweets that make fun of people for putting pronouns in their bios. Disney, she is not it. Okay. Then right here it says, open up your businesses and your churches, put whatever regulations you want to because that is your right to open them up. You're telling me COVID-19 knows the difference between a protest or praise and worship. Yeah, which is true. And then I haven't been to church in over a decade, but I sure would go now. Okay. Just apply some basic logic. This guy, I guess, is posting back to her. The protests have been mostly outdoors, with participants wearing masks. Most church services are indoors, and many conservatives have been resistant to wearing masks. Yes, the virus responds differently to those situations. It's not rocket science. That's true. I mean, that is true. It's outside, but, it's funny because, yeah, but people are running around breathing really heavily. You're not supposed to be in big groups. That's kind of like the whole point. When the coronavirus is a respiratory disease that flows through the air. So if you're in a gigantic group protesting, even if you're wearing masks, you're going to have a likely chance of getting it or catching it. And I'm sure a lot of people in protests take their masks off if they're walking around all day. It's just one of those obvious things. But yeah, indoor sort of deal, I get that. But that's the thing, though. The thing is, it's hard to take government regulation seriously when they regulate one thing and then don't regulate another thing, and they're exactly the same sort of like situation. So kind of think of it like this. You're not allowed to be in churches and stuff like that, even if you're wearing a mask. But if you go ahead and go to a restaurant, right, there's going to be tons of people in a restaurant, and you use your mask to go ahead and sit indoors. At least in Mississippi, it's like this. Sorry. You go and sit down, and then you can take your mask off because you have to eat. So once everyone's sitting down, everybody's in a building without masks on, and people are not really 6 feet apart. It's not really strict at all. You can even see certain waiters, they'll pull down their mask and walk around for a little bit. It's basically the same. You see what I'm saying? It's like you regulate based on everybody. You don't just regulate based on one particular group of people or thing or anything like that. It's like, if you can't be in a group, you shouldn't be in any group. It shouldn't just be like, oh, well, groups over here are fine, but groups over here aren't. See what I'm saying? It's just very hypocritical, and that's why government regulation is kind of shitty when it comes to things like that. I get what she's saying. It's just people don't like it. And then I guess she was talking about the election. Says we need to clean up the election process so we are not left feeling the way we do today. Put laws in place that protect us against voter fraud. Investigate every state. Film the counting. Flush out the fake votes. Require ID. Make voter fraud end in 2020. Fix the system. But when I know obviously she's a conservative, right? So she's talking about like, well, the election could have been fraudulent because of bad votes and stuff like that, or fake votes. But like what she's saying is not like bad all around. Doesn't like everybody want like a clean election, Like, so if she's just saying like, hey, it's a clean election, like let's make it so that it's a clean election and nobody has any like doubts about it. Everybody would like that, right? So you can join over the Parler app. I go to blah, 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 so it's the Parler thing. Okay, they fired James Gunn for joking, but she still had a job after all the crap on her timeline. Asked people to join Parler, which is just a bunch of right-wing racists on there. That's not true, though, because I actually have a Parler. I have a Parler and a Twitter account, and I find actually that people on Parler are actually nicer to you than on Twitter. I don't know what it is, but you can't get a Parler anyways right now because it's been banned, which I'm not going to get into right now, but it's actually really stupid because they're trying to connect it to the Capitol riot, right? But in reality, the people who actually, because there's no grouping on Parler. There's not actually like a group, like you can't actually form a group on Parler. It's all like individual basis. Like you can only like tweet at individuals. There's no like a group thing on there. So it's hard to actually coordinate anything on Parler, as in if you go ahead and go to Facebook or Twitter, there's a way to do that. And in fact, what they found out is that the majority, or like 99.9% of what actually went down from the Capitol was conducted on Facebook and Twitter, but they banned Parler because Parler's a right-leaning sort of platform, which is really, like, it's so hypocritical. I don't want to go into that right now. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that what she posted wasn't that controversial on most of the things. She's just, like, some of her opinions are stupid and stuff like that. But, like, you can be stupid and be fine. You can have stupid opinions. I'll tell you right now, on social media, you can definitely have stupid opinions, Her posting about actual events in history, like, who cares? And, and this is the thing, too. I don't really understand the problem with like her being like shitty on Twitter. Let's say if she is like just really shitty on Twitter, right? Most of the people that watch The Mandalorian, and most people in general, actually don't even have a Twitter and don't really follow it that much, and probably don't even follow her. So there's a small majority of people that follow her on Twitter that are pissed off that she said certain things that annoyed them, right? So I bet you it's a small fraction of individuals who were pissed at her for her posts, right? And then they got her fired for those tweets, even though they weren't even that bad, and the majority of people probably didn't even know about them. You know what I mean? And I don't really get it. It's like people, because the thing is, I've actually talked to people online. I was like, well, she didn't say anything that bad, and they're like, well, she pissed off like a huge portion of the fan base for Star Wars. I'm like, did she though? Like, I actually don't know a lot of people that have Twitter. Like, I know some teenagers that have Twitter. I don't know a lot of adults that have Twitter. My wife doesn't have a Twitter. Some of my friends don't have Twitter. Like, a lot of people don't have Twitter. And then I know that not everybody in her group or her, I don't even know what you'd call it, the people that follow her on Twitter, right? I know that the majority of them there that are following her probably didn't, like, I'm sure that they're fine with what she posts because they're following her, you know what I mean? And then there's probably like a select few that don't like what she's posting, and because of those people, she's going to get fired, and the majority of people who are actually fans of Star Wars are not going to be able to see her ever again, which I think is kind of dumb. And that's the thing, is that people like will say cancel culture doesn't exist because if you act shitty, then you deserve what you get, the consequences for your actions. I was like, yeah, I get that. Let's say if she was like holding a KKK rally or something like that and was, doing all this crazy stuff, like everybody would be like, whoa, and they would stop immediately, right? And they would just kick her out. But stuff like this, it's just a small minority of people that actually care about what she's saying. And then it's going to ruin it for the rest of us, which is really dumb, At least that's my opinion on it. I know it's not the majority for a fact, because I know the majority of people that probably watch Star Wars, they don't give a shit about Twitter, Not everybody has a Twitter. I know, like, people in, like, the little sphere of Twitter think that, like, the world revolves around what's going on Twitter, but it's really not. It doesn't happen at all. Most people don't even have Twitter, so I don't know. Kind of just sucks. But yeah, that's my thought process on it. Just kind of annoying. I don't care. I mean, she's a strong woman. She can go back and fight in the UFC. I'm sure she'll be fine. But it just kind of sucks that the minority can kind of be so vocal that it kind of oversees the majority's actual opinion on something, which is annoying. So anyways, you guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and see ya.